this is Bobby with Bobby Stamps, and I am going to share with you today my first free make and take packet for August. And here it is. And now for some reason I've lost my card. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's the card, and then this is the packet that I'll send you. So how this works, if you've never watched my videos anymore, or if you have never watched my videos, I offer free make and take packets every single month if you shop with me in my online store. So if you spend $25, you earn one, and if you spend $35, you earn two, and if you spend $50, I send you all three of my make and takes for that month. You do have to use a hostess code. I'll put it on the screen here if I don't forget. And then I'll have video 2 and 3 that follows this video. So just stay tuned for that. And this is the super cute card I designed for my very first make and take for August. I'm going to use Early Espresso ink, Mary Merlot ink, and I'm using the new Not Nuts About Squirrels. This is in our new mini catalog that will be available to customers. You can order this starting August 3rd, and when you order and you spend $50, you will be able to choose a free celebration item from the celebration catalog. So if you do spend $50, you're going to get a free item from the celebration catalog, and you will receive all three of my make and take packets. Please make sure you use that hostess code, because that's how I know that you want the free make and take packets. I'm also using a new embossing folder. It's called the Timber 3D embossing folder. So I will send you everything that you need to make the card. So I will send you the piece of Very Vanilla, the 2 labels, your base, and then this little piece that we're going to use. Everything will be die cut out for you and embossed. Now the only thing is I die cut this out using this cute little label, and I believe this one is from the oh, let me find it here. I'm trying to grab it. The Hippo and Friends dies. So I am going to have to cut mine out, because I'm going to show you or tell you. Let me move all of this out of the way for right now so I can get started. So what I found was the easiest way for me to do this was to stamp my image, my squirrel, and then use my Stamparatus. So no matter how I tried, I wasn't happy with my lining up, and it was probably just me. I haven't watched any YouTube videos to see if anybody has a little technique on how they line that up, but I tried. Normally I find like a focus point, and then that's where I know I can stamp. I probably stamped this guy 10 times and could not get mine to line up. So we're just going to use the Stamparatus for that today. So I'm going to just put that in here. So your base that I'm going to send you is Early Espresso, and this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Okay guys, so your Very Vanilla piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4, and then that is your Mary Merlot then is 2.5 by 4 1/4 as well. So it will fit on there. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna grab my stamping pad, and let me just reach really far away. I'm gonna grab a piece of scrap paper so I can protect my piercing mat. We're going to open up Mary Merlot. And let me move all of this out of my way and grab what I need from my stamp set. So I decided to do the little branch, the little tree branch, and then the leaf image. There's another little leaf image there you could use, but I'm just going to stick with what I did for the original card. Okay, so I'm just trying to see. Let's just grab this block and then one of my tiny ones for the little leaf. Okay, and then let me make sure my camera, I had to move it, and it's up a little bit higher, so it makes it a little bit harder for me to see what you guys are seeing. So when you do this, just make sure that you're stamping the image going in all different directions, so that way you don't have your image going the same direction. And then I like to stamp off on the corners like I'm doing right here. Okay, now we'll stop there and we'll come back in with the leaf. Oops, after we drop it in the ink, let me make sure I clean that off. And then the same thing with the leaf, just make sure that you're turning it so our leaf image is not all going in the same direction. Okay, and that one I kind of missed a little bit. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure I'm coming off the side on some of these just so it looks like it's all nice and pretty. Okay, let's do one. Let's see if we can fit one right there in between those. Okay, that looks really good. While I have the Mary Merlot open, I'm just going to go ahead and grab another tiny block. And let me grab the sentiment that I'm using. And we can stamp that really quick. So just put that on your block. We'll ink it up in Mary Merlot and then just turn that as straight as you can get it and then just stamp it right there in the center like that, okay? I'm going to close this up. We are going to use it here again in a minute, but just so I don't make a mess, I'm going to close it up so I can kind of move everything out of the way and bring in the Stamparatus. Now I like to, when I'm using this, use a bigger piece of cardstock than what I need, so that way I can use my magnet and I don't have to worry about it. So I'm just going to place that magnet right there on the right hand side. I'm going to take, and then we'll die cut this out after we stamp it. I found that to be the easiest for me to do. Do what works for you. If you guys can get it to line up and you're happy with it, by all means. If you don't have to use your Stamparatus and you don't want to, that is perfectly fine. I just could not get it. I mean, I could get it in there. I threw everything away, or I could show you. But I couldn't get it to where it made me happy. So, and this one, honestly, I really don't even need the Stamparatus. Let me show you what I mean. We'll just go ahead and put that on my block and I'll show you. So I'm using the Early Espresso ink. And I'm going to ink up that image there. That's the outline of the squirrel. I'm just going to stamp that there like that. Close this up. And then I'll show you, really, I only needed this. So what I did was I just placed this little guy right. I'm going to grab this so my finger doesn't stick. So I placed it where I thought it was going to be lined up. And I am going to move this over just a little bit. So see how with the Stamparatus you can actually put it where you want it to be. And I don't quite have it on there where it needs to be. And if you're not a perfectionist like I am and everything has to be exactly perfect, like I said, you could probably just freehand it. But this was driving me nuts because I couldn't get it exactly where I wanted it. So let's see. I think the ears look like they're going to be out a little bit. But let's just see. I kind of want to move. I'm going to leave it right like that because that I think is the best. And then I'm just going to close this up and then I'm going to hold on to this because I didn't use both my magnets just to make sure my paper doesn't move. And then I'm going to take Mary Merlot. Let me kind of move this in where you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so then I'm just going to ink that up. That image just like that with Mary Merlot. I'm going to fold this over and then I'm just going to stamp that down. And I'm just taking my finger just to make sure I get a good coverage of the ink. And then let's raise that up. And that looks really good. And I think I probably stamped off because as you can see, this is darker than the original. And I know I did. I made this card a while back, so I can't remember that part that I did stamp off. I'm not going to stamp off, but I do remember what I did. I just took a piece of paper like this, a piece of scrap paper, and tore it to make it fit over that image, stamped off, made sure my paper didn't move, and then I inked it up. And you can see, I mean, you guys can use now if you like the lighter image or the darker. Honestly, I think I like the darker image. I'm not really sure why I stamped off if I thought it was going to look better. But after doing that, now I think I like the darker image. Okay. Now, I also need to stamp the little nut, but I'm going to go ahead and die cut that out first because that's not going to be that hard for me to stamp. And I have to take my sweater off because I'm starting to sweat a little bit, you guys. Okay, let me grab my plates that I'm going to need to die cut. I'm gonna grab the hippo dies again. So this is using the 3rd die in the set. And then I'm just gonna put this and make sure my image is right in the center. I hope you guys can see that. Like I said, it's kind of hard where I'm setting for me to see the camera. It's actually above my head. So I'm trying to make sure I stay in frame for you guys. We'll just die cut this out. Let me move this out of the way and close this guy up. And see what we have. See, that's just easier for the stamping for me to do it that way. Okay, there we go. Now let's bring in this mat again. Now I do think on the original I did not stamp off, but I do think I'm going to stamp off on the bottom nut, and then I'm trying to find my, I have everything in my way, you guys. Now I can't find my little cleaning pad for my stamps. Okay, hopefully I have 2 small ones because I need, sorry for all that noise. I keep my dies in a little metal thing and it's making a lot of noise as I'm trying to get what I need. Okay, so let's just take the little top. Oops, let's place it on there right. And then the little bottom. Okay, just like that. So I'm going to use the Early Espresso ink again. And for the top, I do want it to be that little bit dark. So I'm just going to stamp that. But this one I am going to stamp off. And I am going to turn it so I can kind of see. I think it goes this way with the little like squiggly mark at the bottom. I am going to stamp off because I do want the bottom part to be a little bit lighter. So see, that's cute like that. Totally happy with that. Let's move this out of the way and we can start assembling the card. So I also sent you the ribbon. This is the faux suede trim, and it's also an Early Espresso. I'm gonna take and just flip my paper over. I want that to be the front. I'm gonna use just some regular Stampin' Seal, and all I'm doing for this is I want to have something on the back of there to hold down my adhesive. So I'm just gonna take this. You can use tape. A lot of times I use tape. I just don't have any tape over here beside me right now. I'm gonna make sure I have enough around the sides to wrap around, just like that. And that's about how much I sent you guys too, so you could wrap it around too. I'm gonna lay it down and just fold those over, and that adhesive is just gonna hold those there for me, just like that. Make sure you have it pretty straight. Let me move this out of the way. And then I have to remember, I have to look because I did use Stampin' Dimensionals. And I do think I popped this one up. I did. Okay. So let's put just regular Stampin' Seal on the back. So let's just put some there. I'm going to put another little round just because my fingers have touched that. And I just want to make sure I have a good amount of adhesive. And then just put this piece right in the center like that. I feel like this video is taking me an hour to do. And it's a super easy, quick, simple card. Okay. Just like this. Okay. You guys have been following me. I have been sick now for going on, I don't want to say sick because I'm fine. I'm able to work and all that kind of stuff. But I had a cold about 2 weeks ago. And it is just hanging on. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I am very congested. Normally when I first get up in the morning, I'm like this, and then I get better. But this is early afternoon, and I'm still, I had been taking an antibiotic when I was sick, and then I started taking Sudafed, and then I sent you a piece. another piece that you'll just loop through there, and we're just going to tie a simple knot. And I got mine up a little bit higher than what I would have liked. I'm not going to take it back off, but I would suggest putting that on a little bit lower. And then just tie yourself a cute little, just a knot, just a simple knot, a straight knot, and then try to get it centered. I did not, oh, and I just ripped my paper. So I'm just going to move that. If I would have been a little bit more careful, I wouldn't have ripped it. And then I'm just going to go in because this one is not angled like the other pieces that I want. Okay, just like that, guys. And I'm going to just take a smidge off that one because they're not totally the same size. But anyway, I took an antibiotic. That's what my doctor put me on when I was sick. I have finished the antibiotic, and I am still periodically having to take Sudafed. And today is one of those days where I'm taking it because my nose is runny, my throat is a little bit sore. I've talked to so many people that that's going through this. They got the flu and they just can't get over it now. I did have to have a COVID test just to make sure to rule that out when I was first sick, and it was negative. So that's good. Okay, let's put this right about there. And then we're just going to put the little sentiment to the right. And stay tuned because I will post the next video oops, put that down a little bit crooked, right after this video. Okay, guys, there is August 1, or August 1st, 2021, my first make and take packet for August. I'll be right back and I'll post the next video showing you card 2.